one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So that was recorded. I hope it's not going to be held against. So the next item on the agenda is the reading of the minutes, and I will merely comment that when I read the minutes and I see what I said, I say, did I really say that? Your spoken comments are not like your written comments. It just doesn't come out the way you think it did. Anyway, if you've all had a chance to read the January minutes, I'll entertain a motion to accept them. I will second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So today we have no old business on the agenda. We've cleaned up our agenda and we have one item of new business. It is application 1 of 2023 relating to 518 Ridge Lane LLC. And it's a request for an area variance to move a principal dwelling farther forward towards the road, which is reducing the already less than standard front yard setback on a tiny parcel. I don't know if any of you walked the lot.
Yeah.
But so who's here for the applicant? You, Anthony?
Yes.
Sorry, the
Oh,
record
the
would show
posting?
that I have the updated mailing.
I neglect to ask you that every time. The affidavit, the posting affidavit. Now, I saw the posting out there. Anthony Vermeris.
Verminois, yes.
Perfect. Okay. You can, I can see it. Actually, we can hear you. I don't know that you need the podium. Wherever you're more comfortable.
It's Davis and Victor. ER. M-A-N. Davis and David.
So it's not from a dwell.
Verminois.
OS.
OS. Okay. So, you're ready for me to start?
Yeah, please.
Okay, yeah, as you've noted, this is a tiny property on Ridge Lane, tiny house on the property. I was actually just looking at the Google satellite images before I came here, and I believe that the footprint of the house is actually smaller than the basketball court of the neighbor to the west. So, having said that, having a small property like this presents its own sort of set of challenges. I believe it has a negative building envelope, so really any kind of expansion of the structure whatsoever is going to trigger a variance. We do have, the way that this came about, what we propose to do here is that it actually started with the septic system. We want to put in a new upgraded IA septic system. And that is forcing us to lift the first floor of the house up due to some water table issues that are there from the current, which is 13 foot 6 inches, I believe, up to 15 feet. And that, of course, means putting in a new foundation, which is great because it gives the possibility of having a finished basement underneath the house. None of those things necessarily trigger a variance because the house will still be under less than 25 feet above the existing grade, and it's well clear of the sky plane. But we thought this might be an opportunity to improve on one negative aspect of the property, and that's basically that there's essentially no backyard. I think that the property, I assume, is probably at one time a much larger property that got partitioned off over time. But now, using this opportunity here that we have to do a new foundation, we have to lift the house, why not move it forward a bit on the property? So that is what is triggering the need for this front yard variance. We're proposing to move it forward approximately 22 feet from its current location. The current, one thing that's probably worth noting is that even though that is increasing our I guess you would say decreasing our front yard setback, it's actually increasing our rear yard setback. So I think that we're actually so while we're reducing our front yard nonconformity or increasing our front yard nonconformity, sorry, we're also decreasing our rear yard nonconformity with this proposal. Really, we're not other than the moving of the house, we're not really planning on any significant changes to it whatsoever. Just a tiny bump out in the back there, which is really just scoring off a sort of funny corner in the back. If you went over to the site, you may have noticed it, just squaring that off, and a very small shed dormer on the second floor, which we're proposing. So, the house, the GFA is going to stay essentially the same as it is now, which is about 1,800 square feet or so. So that is, in brief, the proposal.
Well, you answered a couple of questions, one of which was going to the expense of lifting and moving the house forward 20 feet
Yeah,
without expanding the footprint or increasing the
Yeah.
GFA. And so we now understand the reason for that.
yeah, it's all being driven by the septic system.
A second thing, I understand the implications of the negative building envelope and the increase of the rear yard setback, effectively offsetting the decrease in the front yard setback, which I appreciate, and what people tend to sit in the backyard and have some privacy in the front. The thing is that I did look at the other houses along there, and it does not appear that if the house will move forward as you propose, that it's going to obstruct anybody else's front yards or views, because the house setbacks and shielding seem to be pretty much okay. That new modern house to the west is set back pretty far, so you'll actually, I think it's in the application.
Excuse me, Elliot, can I just interrupt this entire meeting for one
Sure, you
moment?
got a problem with the recording?
Yeah. So end this meeting,